So some time ago, I was in a psychology class. This was about, I'm gonna say 3 semesters ago, maybe honestly 2, I don't know. Anyways, so I was in the psychology class, and what's interesting to know about the psychology class was that it was a feminist classroom. Not that it was like the study of like the psychology of feminism, but it was, the instructor was a very vigilant and open feminist. She, on the first day of school, actually, we were going over the syllabus, and she said that, so first things first, this class is an LGBT safe zone. And this is actually pretty reasonable because she worded it in a way of like, you can have disagreements with each other and not understand what it means to be gay or what it means to be trans, but just don't disrespect each other. So I think that was reasonable. But where she kind of went to the left was when she said, and this is a women, not a women, she said, this is a safe zone to discuss women's issues because I am a feminist, and I hope that everyone in this room is a feminist. And then she looked around the room and kind of gave everyone like the side eye, like in a playful way, but at the same time it was kind of like, okay, I understand that, but you're sort of alienating people who might not subscribe to feminist ideology. So that was a little bit weird for me. But at the time, this was like a year and a half ago, I didn't identify as an anti-feminist, an MRA, anything like that. I just was going with the flow. Didn't know a ton about feminist ideology. So pretty much all the time in this class, she would find some way to work in what we were learning about in terms of psychology to a women's issue. If we were talking about the communication styles, if we were talking about communication styles, she would talk about the styles of women and men and how men's communication style is less productive, less effective, etc. So I thought that was kind of like, again, this is before I, as some say, took the red pill, but it still was kind of weird to me. So all this feminist talk kind of came to a head. And by the way, everyone in the class, not everyone, it was a relatively large class. I think there was like 30 kids in there, maybe a little more. But a lot of these people identified as feminist. I mean, the discussions that went back and forth all the time were between Feminist 1 and Feminist 2 and the rest of everyone else. And it was just a lot of feminism talk all the time. So it kind of all came to a head when we were doing presentations and we had to stand in front of the class, talk about, I forget what even like the instructions for the assignment were, but long story short, someone was doing a presentation about domestic violence. And in this presentation, they talked about, the entire presentation was gynocentric. It was talking about women as victims of domestic violence. There was really no talk of men. I think she included like one statistic about men, but I don't think it was a legit statistic or a valid one. And once this started going, people in the class were talking about their own experiences with domestic violence, whether it was something they went through themselves, their family, their parents, their mom, whatever. And it's super, like, even weird to think back, because, like, this is a college setting, and, like, people in this class were crying, talking about their stories, and I understand that they're powerful stories and they're emotional stories, but I was like, okay, why are we all, like, crying in class? I don't get it. People were like walking out. People were so upset they couldn't listen to it. And it wasn't me. I was actually like sort of, it sounds bad, but I was sort of like, when I'm in awkward situations, I tend to laugh. And it's horrible because like I don't think it's funny. Like this girl was talking about like how her boyfriend slapped her. And like that's horrible. And I wasn't laughing because it was funny, but I was laughing because I didn't know how to react. So I was kind of like hiding my head and pretending like I was upset, but I was actually laughing. But anyways, so all these girls are telling their stories. Everyone's emotional. Everyone's crying. The teacher's crying. The teacher is, encouraging the discussion, which is fine. Oh, girl, what am I doing? So anyways, it comes around to one male student's chance to talk. And he was like the last person that talked. I'm only guessing this is because this is something that's a little harder for males to talk about. So his personal story, he was probably weighing in his mind, like, should I talk about it? Should I not? He tells a story, and I don't remember exactly what his situation was. But basically, his situation was worse than any girls in this class who talked about how their boyfriend used to verbally abuse them or used to hit them or used to grab them, whatever. This guy said, my ex-girlfriend used to leave me with scratches, bruises, blood, cuts, like, used to really abuse me. So that's horrible, right? Shocking, right? Horrible. But as soon as he started talking and he said that he had a girlfriend who used to abuse him, everyone in the class started laughing. Literally. I think the only person that didn't laugh was fucking me and the instructor, the professor. I mean, I was really shocked by that. The fact that all these women are opening up and telling their stories and everyone's going through all this emotion, and then this guy decides to do it, and it's like funny. And it was the most awkward, weird situation I was ever in, being surrounded by all these people who thought that it was funny. And these were all feminists. So I just wanted to kind of tell this story to be like, this was one of the defining moments. I know I talked about my transition being something that really helped me see past feminism for the bullshit that it is. But this was one of those moments too. Being in a room full of feminists who are giggling about this man's story. And after they started laughing, I should finish the story. He sort of like, I feel like he maybe was taken aback a little bit too that everyone was laughing. He did finish his story, and then he kind of played it off like it wasn't a big deal. Although you could kind of tell when he started the story that it was a big deal to him, but you could tell that, like, he knew that no one else in the room thought it was, so he wasn't going to make it out to be. And I think that this is microcosmic of society as a whole. You know, when's the last time you saw a domestic violence commercial centered around men being the victims, portraying a male victim? When's the last time you heard of a male hotline for domestic violence? And the truth is, you know, more women in the U.S. are affected by domestic violence in terms of being victims, but it's something like over 40% are men. So it's not like it's 90-10 or 80-20. It's like 60-40. And I would venture to guess that it might even be closer to 50-50 if you take into account the fact that men don't talk about it. And when they do, they get fucking laughed at, as was the case with what I saw. So, yeah, that was just one of the little defining moments leading to me going down the path of anti-feminism, the men's rights movement, etc. Just a quick little story. And, yeah.